very happy to welcome you all to the online SDG Advocates Program. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to be doing today by sharing the screen. The agenda for tonight is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to wait maybe a few more minutes. I think there's enough people, right? 15 people. We're going to have a brief introduction about the program, a little bit about the background, objectives, and the tools available. And that's going to be done by me, Nadine, and Chi, my colleague next to me. We are both working for the UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub. And then we're going to move on to our colleagues in Bonn, Guyana and Christina, working for the UN SDG Action Campaign. And they will tell you more about how to collect votes online, the kind of tools that the SDG Action Campaign has, and also how to maximize your digital impact. And for this, we're gonna have Christina, who is a social media expert. After that, we're gonna have a brief Q&A, and if you have any questions, you can put them on the side on the YouTube channel. We will have like a comments box on the side, so you can, if there's any issue at some point, if you can't hear us, or if there's some disconnection, you should probably comment also, let us know how it's working, and we will try to answer your questions. So we're starting now, and we are aiming to finish between 8 and 8:15 p.m. Bangkok time. So let me start with a bit about the co-conveners. So this initiative was convened by 3 main UN agencies. On one hand, the UN SDG Action Campaign. They will present themselves in the second part of the webinar, but they're based in New York and Bonn, and their main mandate is to raise awareness on the SDGs. We are here in Bangkok from the UNDP Regional Hub, so we don't work at the national level, but we work at the regional level, Asia Pacific wide, from Afghanistan all the way to Fiji. So we cover 32 countries, actually, and we are part of the SDG team. So we work in cross-cutting issues, not only specific SDGs, but all of them. And our primary role is to support country offices from UNDP to implement the SDGs effectively. We are also civic engagement and youth empowerment specialists. We have specific programs for youth empowerment. We also have a youth team doing that, but we are doing that jointly. And we're working across teams to really make sure that SDGs are mainstreamed. The program, the SDG Advocates Program, was created in June 2018. That was like the initial beginning of the program. Currently, there are 50 SDG advocates that are based in 10 ASEAN countries. ASEAN is this entity, sub-regional entity covering Southeast Asia. So you have Philippines, Laos, Vietnam, 10 countries in total. That also includes Singapore, Brunei. If you type ASEAN on Google, you can find a list of countries. So the initial 50 advocates have a bit of a different role than the online SDG advocates. The SDG advocates from June, they are working at the grassroots level, and they are organizing events. So there's a lot of face-to-face interaction. The difference with your program is that you are strictly and only working online. So you were recruited through the online volunteering platform by UNV. UNV is in fact the 3rd UN co-convener of this initiative. We are partnering with UNV Asia Pacific, but also UNV Global. UNV Asia Pacific, you will meet and you will see in some emails probably our colleagues Manon and Emilia, and they also have a social media expert called Mitra. So this is kind of the entire team here. So in Bonn, Christina is actually based in Madrid, but she's often also in Bonn. You have Bangkok, and sometimes we all travel, so you will also find us in different places. I, for instance, go to Cambodia on a regular basis. I know some of my colleagues go to New York on a regular basis. So we are, global citizens, and we are based in our respective offices, but we are also traveling quite extensively. Me personally, I've met about half of the SDG advocates in the region, either through missions or through events that we organized. We tend to invite also advocates to come join us for certain events. In your case, there are 3 main deliverables that are actually outlined in your terms of reference. So all of you by now have received an email outlining what your key responsibilities will be. It is in your letter of appointment. There is the bullet points. My colleague Chi will probably explain the deliverables more in detail. So please, all of you, if you haven't signed the letter of appointment and the media release form, please do so as soon as possible. And I guess maybe we can move on to you, Chi. You can maybe explain the tools available. And
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Chi. I'm from UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub, now sitting with Nadine. So now we're going to explain a little bit about the tools available. And now we move on to the guidebook we have here. Meanwhile, you can also copy paste. You can also type this web link to get access to this online advocate's guidebook. If we look at the table of the contents, there are 5 main parts of it: introduction, about this volunteer task, the toolkits and social media resources, getting started, and then the frequently asked questions. We're going to take you a tour about the toolkits and social media resources available from here. So it's at page 7. We have a number of tools and webinars available already online that you can access. My World 2030, how to get started, My World 2030 campaign toolkit, and introduction to the SDGs, and My World webinar. And more importantly, we will have Christina later to explain in detail how to maximize your digital impact online. And here are a couple of examples of the digital products we have. This one is the Humans of My World Stories, produced by one of our SDG advocates based in Thailand. It's with the nice picture with Humans of My World Stories in English and also in local languages. So you're also encouraged to create the local language for the country where you are based. If you're based in the ASEAN countries, you can vote on the ASEAN My World website. And if you're from other parts of this program, that you can vote on the My World 2030 website. We also have a number of social media products available. For example, this is the Facebook and Twitter banner we produced. We will share the access to all the social media products with you later. And you can also change the settings on your Facebook profile. For example, Nadine set up this I Act for SDG on her profile picture. And there will be other hashtags and partner handles, which Christina will be able to explain us in more details. Yes. And before I move it on to hand it over to my colleagues in Bonn, I would like to emphasize the deliverables here about the volunteer task. So the expected deliverables for each online volunteer include design and disseminate campaign messages online with the tools provided, and identify online platforms and engage with the public. And the third one will be monitor responses from the target audience on a weekly basis. We have provided a table for you to track your progress on social media. It's at the end of the Advocate's Guidebook. And fourth one is to provide a final report of the overall online audience reach. We'll also provide an online survey to collect the results from this. And it is very important to keep in mind that the program is run from Monday, 18th March until Friday, 31st of May in 2019. And now we are kicking off this assignment with this Welcome on Board webinar. And during the program, we'll have a coordination call, and the date and time will be announced soon. And also to keep in mind, the final analytics report will be submitted no later than Friday, 24th May 2019. And there are also important international days that you can try to use this as a strategic point to engage with the public. Now I'm move this over to my colleagues in Bonn, to Gayan and Christina.
Is working?
Yes.
Hello and welcome everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yes, my name is Gayan Piris. I'm the digital strategist of the UNSDG Action Campaign, and I'm here with my colleague Tina.
Hi, everybody.
I would like to start off with a question. Why do we need this perception information? And that is because UN and the governments have agreed to the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, and we want people to tell us how we are doing and people to influence their governments on their priorities, which is why we have this survey. So in a way, it's collecting data from people about what matters to them the most. At the same time, it's also creating connections, mobilizing people, getting people to talk about their issues, listen to their stories. So what we are doing is the data that you collect, we take it to the decision makers, to the governments, to key UN events. So whatever information you collect, it's not just going into a report. It will be shown at the very highest level possible to the decision makers. It could be to the president of your country when they come to the General Assembly. It could be to the mayor of your city when they come to a UN event, or when we present at different events. So the data you collect is extremely important. And I will first show you how to collect that information, and then Tina will come in and show you how the tools and the communication methods you can use to do so. I'm going to share my screen. Let us know in the comment section of YouTube if you have trouble hearing me, or if my screen freezes. Please feel free to let us know in the chat channel in YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to start off with well. I'm going to start off with the ASEAN My World survey, and I will show I will wait a few seconds till the screen comes up. Okay, so I'm going to show the ASEAN My World survey first, and then I'm going to the other My World survey. Because this is on YouTube, these URLs, you can always come back to the YouTube video and get the URL. So the URL for ASEAN is asean.myworld2030.org. And my colleague Tina just typed the URL in the chat channel as well. So it's ASEAN. Remember, there's no www, just asean.myworld2030.org. And you can do this with me. The first question, in fact, the first thing I want you to show is that this is available in the 10 ASEAN languages. And if you're not from the ASEAN region and if you want to contribute another language, then it is extremely easy. It's just an Excel file where you just need to put the term in front of the item, and we will share that with you. And all you need to do is fill it up and send it back to us, and we can add it to the system. So the first question is, if you take the ASEAN My World survey, are you aware about the ASEAN Community Vision 2025? If people say yes, it takes you to the next question. But if people say no, it gives a brief introduction about what Vision 2025 is. And the next question is, are you aware about the global goals, which was signed by 193 world leaders at the UN in 2015? Again, if they say yes, next question. But if they say no, it gives a brief introduction of what it is. The next question is, which six? There are 17 different goals, and we are asking which six of the following global goals are of immediate concern to you and your family. So the catch here is we are asking for six. Why? Because if we simply ask one, people will simply select anyone that is interested to them. The moment you ask six, this gets them thinking about the interconnectivity between the goals. Imagine, for example, if I have a little daughter, I'll definitely select quality education, but at the same time, for her to have opportunities, I need to select gender equality as well. So this, by asking six, we get them thinking about the interconnections between goals. By the way, this 17 is randomized, so you won't get from 1 to 17 going down like this all the time. If you refresh, it will be in a different order. So because we don't want people to simply select the first six always. So once you select six, it takes you to the next question. Would you say the situation in your chosen goal has got better, stayed the same, or got worse over the past 12 months? Again, the important thing here is past 12 months. Because we can then go back next year and ask people whether the situation stayed the same or got better. So they would say, I'm randomly selecting six here. Moment we do this, the system is prompting to give some demographic information. Now, the important thing to remember here is we are not collecting any personal information where the vote can be tracked back to the user. So the voting is completely anonymous. But we need this demographic information because this becomes extremely useful in our analysis. So we are asking for gender, we are asking for age, we are asking for the education level, the country, and if I select a country, the city is locked down by Google into that particular country. So you can see it's the moment I type K, disability status. If people say yes, it is asking for the type of disability as well. So this, in a nutshell, is the My World survey. But what we've done is for you, when you share this URL on social media, when you share this URL on any other your university network or in your community, what we've done is we've created a unique way for you to identify the votes that you brought in specifically. So what you can do is, first of all, go to About. Again, I'm typing, I'm showing this URL on YouTube, so you can always come back to this YouTube video and look for the URL. It's about.myworld2030.org. Go to Partners, this link here, and click on Register. You will be asked certain information. I'm not going to go through all of the information, but the important thing here is the partner ID that you select. Somewhere here, you will be asked a preferred partner ID. So in my case, by the way, this form will change in a couple of days. We are testing a new one. As soon as that is ready, this form will change, but the basic information will remain the same. If I select my partner as partner ID as Gayan, then the important thing to note is the moment you submit this form, you don't have to wait for any confirmation. Start using your partner ID. I'm going to use my partner ID as Gayan P, for example. So that will be my partner ID. So once I submit this form, we have your information. So start using your partner ID. Don't wait for us to confirm. Don't wait for an email. Start using your partner ID. So how can you use the partner ID? Now I'm going to the same ASEAN example, and I'm going to enter partner / the partner ID I just created is Gayan P. Once again, you can go back to the YouTube video and see how I do this. It's myworld2030.org /partner / whatever the ID you create. In this case, it's Gayan P. In your case, it could be Sam, it could be Jen, it could be anything. The partner ID that you create comes in the URL. This way, we know this vote came through you. So how do we know this? Is through, there is a data page actually available. Once again, I'm going to type ASEAN-data.myworld2030.org. And in this data page, we can see this page, by the way, gets updated every morning. So if you voted right now, it might not be available right away. It might be available tomorrow. So you can see through this partner ID the votes that you have bring in. So I can lock this down by my partner ID. Well, I haven't voted yet, but I can select any of these partner IDs, and it will show how many votes you have brought in through your partner ID. And there is a second page for this as well. So I clicked on this top left-hand, the arrow here on the top left-hand corner, and it takes you to the second page. And this shows you the most important goal for people in your community, in your city. Remember, we collected city information, we collected country information, we collected disability information, we collected gender, education, and age group. Now, this information becomes extremely useful when you create different filters. I can see what the age people of the age of 16 to 30 are saying in, for example, let's say Thailand. There you go. So that's data for Thailand. Similarly, you can filter by your partner ID as well. So I can see whoever who had this partner ID has brought in 245 responses out of the 753. So this way we can see, and also you can see, how strong your mobilization skills are and how strong your communities are in bringing the data in. Now I've stick to ASEAN for this presentation, but if you're outside of an ASEAN country, then the same is available through the www URL. Remember, I told you not to type www if it is ASEAN, but if you're outside of the ASEAN countries, then you can type www and it automatically takes you to the My World Global Survey. Again, similar, this is available in 21 different languages, and the questions are the same. It is not asking the ASEAN question, but the first question then is, are you aware about the goals? It's the same with data page. It's data.myworld2030.org. Partner registration. This page, you can see we have close to 400,000 votes at the global level, and the partner registration page remains the same whether you're ASEAN or whether you're outside of ASEAN. The registration page and your partner ID remains the same. We have a mechanism to exchange data between two systems, so it doesn't matter where you bring the data into. The system will put it in the right place. So once again, the important thing is you're creating your partner ID. You go to about.myworld2030, go to partners and register. You should see a form like this. And the moment you register your partner ID, go ahead and use it, share it in your social media, share it in your community, and get the votes. And the following day, the data page should get refreshed and reflect your votes. So I will stop there, and I will hand over to my colleague Tina, who is an expert on communications, to tell you about how you can use some of the tools we have. Want to go here?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Gayan. That was super helpful and really useful to learn how to get online votes. So thank you so much. So hi, everybody. My name is Christina Sampson. I am a communications and design specialist with the United Nations SDG Action Campaign. Right now, I'm excited to talk to you from Bonn, but as Nadine mentioned, the team travels often. So I'm going to show you some useful tips about making the most of online engagement and telling you what hashtags to use and what accounts to use. So let's go share the presentation. Let's see here. Oops.
You can refresh and it should.
Just make sure. Great. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the presentation.
So let us know if you see it. Let's see.
Just great. Well, hello, everybody. Again, we're really excited to have online SDG advocates. Online engagement is super important for getting the message out there, spreading the sustainable development goals everywhere, and really getting everybody excited to learn more about the SDGs and to continue engaging moving forward. So one thing I want to say is that congratulations. It's really a privilege to become an online SDG advocate. So one thing I want to say is that on your own social media profiles, whether on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you can mention that you are an online SDG advocate and be proud of it. One thing that I would like to ask everybody to do is, because we want to really hear more about you, we have a website called actforsdgs.org. So what this website does is for the Global Day of Action, September 25th, we actually have asked people all around the world to register and share their activities, their campaigns, and it is there's a really exciting map on there, and you can actually check the website out, actforsdgs.org, and explore what exciting SDG activities are happening in your country. So I'm going to ask you to create a profile on there, which you can put a little bit of information about yourselves. And when you do online engagements or campaigns, you can actually put them on there. So don't worry, we will share this presentation so you'll be able to get that URL. Here is a bit more step-by-step information on how to do it. To go to the Act for SDGs partner registration page, and there you can enter your social media information, your email address, and here's information about how to edit it. But yeah, don't worry, you'll have this information afterwards. Now, as I mentioned, please use your personal accounts. Do not make any new social media accounts. Use your own. If you don't have your own personal one with your own name and identity, you can go ahead and create one with your own name on the most successful social media channels that are common in your country. I believe many people have told me before that they're fans of Instagram, but there's also WhatsApp groups, or you can even change your WhatsApp bio, or even on your Facebook description. So be proud to say that you are a My World advocate. The official hashtag is #MyWorld, so you can use that. And so just to remind you, #MyWorld is the main one, and the other hashtag that we use is ACT4SDGs, as we want to collect the global reach of the SDG movement. So it's #ACT4SDGs with the number 4. And us at the UN SDG Action Campaign, our account is SDG Action. And we are very active on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And feel free to tag us in all of your exciting Instagram stories as well. We are really trying to improve our engagement on Instagram, so we would love to see all of your content. So a couple tips. When you post, so make sure you put those hashtags. And I'm actually going to go back very quickly to the manual, which has some, sorry, let me get that really quickly. So if we go back to the manual, just give it a second to load. To show you a section there that has some really great online tools for you and online content. Just let it load. This link is also in the YouTube chat as well. So I'm just gonna go down to, it's a bit slow. Scroll down a bit to show you some really great online tools to use. Just give me a second. Well, one thing that's very useful here is I can see as the important international UN days, and there's a summary of some of the ones coming up, such as World Poverty Day, World Water Day, the Asia Pacific Forum. So what's great about these days is that you can take advantage of the popularity of the day and use the hashtag of the day and connect it with my world and with the SDGs. So you can check out the information about the days and connect that, because it's really useful to connect to trending topics, and this will help your content get pushed up higher. Also on here, which I'll mention, is we have a Facebook group, Online SDG Advocates for My World 2030. And it's really great to hear from everyone, to put their updates on there and how they're doing and to share their content. But actually what I want to show you is right here. So on page 7 of the guide, there's a few Trello boards. I'm going to open one. So this, a Trello, if you're not familiar with Trello, it collects a lot of the digital resources for you to use. And this Trello board right here has a lot of information. But as you can see here, you can have access to use the SDG wheel. We have the My World logo in different languages. And actually, as Guyan mentioned, we would love people's support in translating and putting more languages out there, so we can also generate some more logo versions and upload on them for people to use. We have some general toolkits on My World, some general assets here. And so these is a great place to start taking some of these items, and you can use them to customize some of it. And I also want to share another Trello board, which is the ASEAN Trello board, which has collected some more customized My World materials on, yeah, as you can see, it looks a bit crazy, but it's very fun to use. There's different boxes here. You see social media products, promotional materials, online webinar. This online webinar will be uploaded here as well. The website. So as you can see here, you can access the flyer, you can access a lot of information, you can even access banners. So these are all things you can use to create your online content. Just go back very quickly to the presentation. Great, and I understand that the online SDG advocates, all of you, are focused on digital engagement, but if there are opportunities for you to connect it with other activities you do in your life, with other organizations or with your job or something, if you're able to do some activities, you can connect it and promote My World there, and you can talk about what you're doing. And I'm gonna go through some examples of when you make a social media post connected with a specific engagement, of what are the types of things you can include if it's relevant, such as who, what, when, where, why. This is just an example, a generic example about an event that celebrated the SDGs at the UN Day, and it just dissects the message a bit to show you exactly what type of information you could include to share something that you've done. So these are just a few examples of that. This is just an example of a partner in the Dominican Republic who actually painted a mural outside a youth center. So these are just examples of showing what's an effective way to create content where you explain everything that's happening and that people can understand. Notice in this example, there's an English introduction, and then there's in this case, it's Spanish. So we really, really encourage everyone to communicate in your local languages, because this is really the way to reach out to your community and expand reach. So feel free to use English and your local language, or just your local language, or a mix of it. Here's an example of My World advocate from Brunei who participated in the Startup Weekend event, and then this just shows the different types of information that we included in the tweet. And sometimes if you find content that's relevant, in this case, this is just a cute little video about students in Guatemala and here it just says big SDG changes can come in small sizes. So sometimes you can be creative in the ways that you talk about your engagement or your campaign. Sometimes you want just a fun, catchy statement. I'm gonna show you this quick video about just to get you inspired on a lot of the activities that are happening all over the world to promote the SDGs. Ooh, it didn't play. 1 second. I think it should go now. Great. Yeah, one thing that I mentioned is the Facebook group. So Guyan and I were on this Facebook group, as well as the team in Bangkok, and we are there to support you. I know that this was a lot of information at once, but we are really excited to work with you, and we want to keep encouraging you. We know that you may have many questions even moving forward after this webinar, so feel free to use the Facebook page as a resource, and we are really excited to work together. Thank you. Back to Bangkok.
Are we?
Yes, now we're back.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Gayan and Christina, for this amazing deep dive into the possibilities. I think it's very exciting to see, because once you have the understanding of being part of this global movement, so you have really advocates doing the same thing that you will be doing in Latin America, in Africa, in all parts of Europe, all parts of Asia. So I think that sentiment, that feeling of being part of something so much bigger. The SDG Action Campaign has over 1,200 partners for the Act for SDGs event. The Bangkok Regional Hub, of course, we work in so many places, so many countries, and UNDP in general. We also have thousands and thousands of civil society and youth partners, private sector, foundations, academia. So we're bringing the My World survey, and you are contributing as well. So your little piece of this big movement is really appreciated. I think maybe I can start answering some of the questions you had in the chat. Maybe one big question was about the partner ID. So in the guidebook, we created one common one for all the advocates. If you don't feel like registering your own partner ID, the common one is called ADV dash online. And everyone is welcome to use the same one, or you are welcome to register. As Gayan showed you, you can register in a few steps. And this way you will be able to measure how many votes you collected on your own. One caveat I would say is that you're online, so it's a bit, you're doing your social media advocacy. You can create blogs, you can create stories like Humans of My World stories. So there's all kinds of tools that you can use, and the main objective is truly and only to drive traffic to the website. It's not to get necessarily, likes and impressions are very important, but it's the engagement that you get online. So getting conversations started. So it's not, the visuals that you will create, the messages that you will get out are very important, and driving people to go to the website is also very important. Your success will not be measured by the number of votes you get. I think your success as online SDG advocates is the social media and the online kind of engagement you will be able to stir. So it's, likes and these things are very important. If you want to create some videos, I think that would be very helpful. And all the tools that were shown to you, especially on the Trello boards, I would like to highlight that they are free to use. They are open source. You can use them. You can use part of them. The My World logo can be featured on all of your materials. So you're really encouraged to, not only use the regular platforms. So we saw there's Facebook, of course, in this region. In Asia, it's very big. Twitter, but there's a lot of other, Instagram is massive in many places in Asia. Yeah. For some of our Chinese online advocates, there are other platforms that you maybe can tell us about. Some on social media in China is also separate.
Yeah. So we will be cooperating with the Chinese partner to develop the Chinese platform, because currently this My World survey, if you're based in China, maybe it's not available yet because it's Google backed data analysis. So we will be announcing this platform soon once we establish the partnership with China. And now we have another great question that I would like to emphasize here. One advocate just asked how to collect the vote by this particular partner ID. So if you can open the online SDG Advocates Guidebook, it's on page 6. Can you share the screen?
No,
okay. Just 1 second.
6.
And then you can notice that this partner ID is available here on page 6.
Page 6.
Yes. You can also create your own partner ID, as Christina answered in the text. But you can also collect your votes under this particular link. So what you do is that you share this link, you copy paste this link and share it to people, so that the vote be counted under this partner ID. It's called ADV online.
Yes, very good. Then maybe I should mention that the online SDG advocates, so you are based in ASEAN countries, but also all over Asia. And some of you are also based in Europe. I think we have some in the UK and other countries.
And in Hungary. Yeah.
So the two platforms are connected. So if you collect votes for ASEAN or for My World, they're counted for the global My World as well. The two platforms are one and the same. They are separate because there was this partnership with the ASEAN Secretariat, specifically with the 10 Ministry of Foreign Affairs of ASEAN, and it was created as a custom version of the My World. But the two platforms and the votes you collect go to the same part of votes, and they inform the same, all the same about the SDGs. So there are differences. Is just the platform, the landing page, but the votes go in the same place. Then there was a question about which contact information to put down in your communication.
As a focal point and the telephone number. I can read out this question so that everyone can see it. This question from Isa, she was asking, also wondering who we list down as our focal point and the focal telephone number when we're registering for the partner ID.
So I think you put your personal, if you register under your individual name, you register with your own name and you know your own contact address. This way you become an official partner of My World in your individual capacity. So is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was there another question?
Question about maybe languages for the survey. There was like
yes. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Tina, I think posted on the chat channel. You can Tina posted a link to the language file. Simply download the language file, and it's self-explanatory. You can add a new tab with your language and copy from English maybe, and then type in your language. It's very easy.
Thank you, Gayan. They are so available in the 10 ASEAN languages and then in many other languages. Some of you, I think, is in Germany, so it's in German. You have all kinds of languages. We are also in the process to translate it. We've done a lot of the offline ballots, especially in Hindi, Nepali, I think Burmese is already there.
Yes.
What other languages?
Malayalam,
that's a sub-regional Indian language. Japanese is already there. We're doing Korean as well. I think we have one Korean SDG online advocate. So there are a lot of languages that are going to be available. And as Chi emphasized earlier, we really, really encourage you to do your online advocacy outreach in your local languages. So I think the message in English is, all of us, we speak international English, that's great, but I think you will reach more people if you speak in your native language. So that's very important. The best practice from Thailand that Chi showed you earlier was in English and then in Thai. This way you can reach really even more people. Was there any other question in the chat?
Okay, let me check.
No.
We can probably just repeat this question. There's an advocate who's willing to help to translate.
To which language? Sorry.
Into she's from Hungary, and
right.
she's willing to help to translate into her or him local languages.
So it's Nora, right?
It's Jean.
Jim. Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. So yes, we will email you the English version or whatever you prefer. If you prefer German or whatever the closest one is, we can email you that template so you can help us translate it into Hungarian. I'm sure Gayan and Christina will really appreciate having an additional language.
We got one more question from Mokesh. Here it is. I wanted to know about communication and how can I take communication banners, social media posts, sexual materials, and publish from my social media account. Is it customized?
So a lot of the resources that were shared, so in the guidebook, you have a lot of there are additional webinars that explain how you can customize these resources. In the Trello board, you can access the Trello board. It's open source, and you can just download the documents. You will find also ready-made materials where you have all the logos, all the websites, kind of some SDG-related design, but you also have pieces of design. You have the partner logos, you have SDG wheels, SDG, kind of like rectangles, SDG roll, exactly. So you have all kinds of you can create your own designs if you like. So there's a range of designs that are readily available. If you are Mukesh, you're from India, likely. So you don't have to use the ASEAN customized. There's also My World customized, and you can use those as a template, or you're welcome to create your own.
Hi, I just want to mention, can you hear me?
Yes.
There's a very good website called canva.com, which is canva.com, and it's a very easy to use drag and drop site to create your own social media banners. You can take the My World logo and other SDG icons in your own images, and it's super easy to use. So if you're creative, I encourage you to check out that site. It makes it very easy to create graphics. So if you want to download the different elements, as Nadine said, and play around with it, the sky's the limit, and we encourage you to be creative, and we're excited to see what you can come up with.
Thank you for this. Really helps. Canva is actually a great tool. We'll add it to the guidebook. We've been using it here actually in Bangkok, and it's really, really user-friendly and a great tool altogether. Then there's another question.
We have this question to clarify from here. Whether to use the ADV online ID or to register for their own ID. Which way you should go for it?
For the partner ID, I think we answered that question already. So it's up to the online advocates. If you feel like creating your own partner ID, that will you can have it under your own individual name, and then this way you will know how many votes you collected individually. If you don't feel like creating a partner ID, we would recommend you to use the collective online online ADV dash online, and that will collectively you will know how you managed to collect votes as a group.
Yes. So just to complement that, once you have registered your own ID, for example, you registered as ABC, then you just go to your advocate's guidebook in the lower part of page 6. You replace ADV dash online with your own partner ID. Let's say example ABC, then you can share this link, copy and paste this link, and all the votes voted on this link will be counted under your name. Gaia has explained this before, and just trying to emphasize it.
Yeah.
Share the screen. Are there more questions coming? Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Let's have a look at the question list again. So a question from Isa, based in Australia. So Isa is from the Philippines originally, but based in Australia. And she's asking whether to use the ASEAN link or the My World link. I think in your case, Isa, it would be up to you. If you know you're going to share your social media messages mostly with a Filipino audience, I would say maybe ASEAN. Otherwise, you can use the My World. But again, the votes going to end up in the same bucket in the end. So I think both on the ASEAN, it's available in Filipino language, and on both platforms, it's available, of course, in English. So Christina suggests that you use the global link. I think really it's pretty much, in your case especially, it's pretty much the same.
Okay. I guess there's no more questions coming in.
Very good. Gayan and Christina, is there anything else you would like to add at this point?
No, I think that's it. And just that we are very excited to see all the engagement, especially in the chat. We're very optimistic about all of you, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you for your positive energy, guys.
No, please ensure you whatever you do, you hashtag it correctly so we can capture it. Like Tina said, My World and Act for SDG. So we'll ensure we will promote whatever you do out there. We will take it to the global level. Thank you.
Thank you to both of you. As a kind of a wrap up, I would like to again thank you very much for joining this program. We're going to be in touch. The primary point of contact is the Facebook group. So we're going to try to minimize emails. If any of you has ever worked at the UN or with the UN, you would know that we are overwhelmed with some of us hundreds of emails per day. So really, for benefiting everybody, we're trying to get the information on the Facebook group. So whatever question you have, go to the Facebook group first. We will upload some resources there. We'll give you all the access. So you can ask your questions. We monitor the Facebook group on a daily basis so you can get an answer quickly. And only if we don't get an answer on Facebook, note the weekends, please. We have families and we're off. But if you haven't received a response and something very urgent comes up, then you are, as a secondary point of contact, you can email us. But again, please, the first point is, okay, let me check the guidebook, see if there's maybe the question I have is answered already in the guidebook. Second step, you go to the Facebook group and you ask there, and then everyone can benefit from the answer. And the third point is via email. And we will next week share some more toolkits and some more resources specifically on social media. So pre-recorded webinars that we have on digital storytelling and photo. So how you can like improve your photography and your video skills, especially. And there's a bunch of other toolkits, especially related to storytelling. Yes. And one of them is Humans of My World, which is kind of giving a human face to the SDGs. And that's the example that you showed. And there's a lot of, the toolkits are very user-friendly and very easy to follow. So I think it's pretty straightforward on how to use them. And we will share this on the Facebook group. And the next moment where we will talk together would be very likely in about a few weeks' time, about 4 weeks' time. All of us together, we can have a coordination call where we can like take stock of like what's working, what's not working, and we will share the date and time for this call soon. So again, everybody, thank you so much for joining this welcome webinar. Everyone is very excited to have you. UNV Asia Pacific told us to apologize for not being here today, but they were also equally excited about the online volunteers. By the way, it's the online volunteering platform is facilitated by UNV, so we should really thank them for facilitating this. And on behalf of all three UN co-conveners, congratulations on being selected. It was very competitive, where we received almost 100 applications, and we are really looking forward to working with you in the coming weeks and months. So have a good afternoon for those in Europe time and Africa time, and a good evening for everyone in Asia. And thank you again so much for Gayan and Christina for joining us.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.